6:45 for a public hearing. Ordinances. Not sure if Chad's gonna be able to join us via Zoom. If not, they'll all have to run the course. Roger, is it gonna be possible if he can't join us for you to Zoom in? Grouch?
I can't promise, but I'll try.
Okay. Because I know our appropriations and our transfers, they need to be done, especially if we're not gonna meet in August.
Will Chad be here in 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
but
will be.
Roger won't be.
Roger won't be.
So,
you know, it's kind of in a pinch when we're
yeah,
down one.
okay. So there's only 3 ordinances that we have to do, and like I said, Chad just texted me, he's out to dinner. He said he'd try, but no guarantees. You know how it is down there, when you're out to dinner. I forgot that said he wasn't going to be here. Safety services, I got a text from Tom Waycaster, and I just talked to Glenn. I talked to Max. Tom had said that he had called Max and called Mike. And said that he had talked to him about the tree and the tree lawn and wanting it off his house. Well, Max says he never remembers a call, and Mike doesn't either. But he is right, the tree is on his house, but
I have an update on it if you want me to butt in. Sorry.
no, that's fine.
I call, we're going to cut it down. It's got wires going through
Right.
2 different directions and they are hot. So Trevor Breidenball, that's most of our tree work, he's going to cut it down by, I said, we're going to wait till fall, till the leaves get off, because I don't want you getting hurt
Right.
doing it. So I'm going to call that Tom back and let him know that. So,
Okay, I'm gonna talk to him as well,
Okay.
because if he doesn't talk to anyone, he shouldn't tell me to talk. to
Right.
anyone.
Yeah,
So,
because he's explained to me how I would know him and everything, and I'm like, well, this isn't somebody I've talked to.
yeah.
Apparently, I
So
know him from the golf course. I probably know the face, but I never knew his name was.
probably, but, okay. So evidently he didn't call anybody. Okay. Acorn Lane,
Said a
Was
sign
that
was,
Waiting on a sign.
okay,
okay.
that's what I've told him, so.
Did you decide which way? You said both.
Both, yeah.
I still
And we
think
have
that
no argument. No one will be
I
driving
got
on that
egress
road.
out to Cambridge Road.
Yeah, so you can go
egress.
from 16 to Cambridge
Cambridge
Road.
Road, but you
Right.
can't come off of the state
Right,
highway
Instead
onto
of
it.
from, yeah,
Mhm.
instead of off the
Okay.
Cambridge Road. up, So,
Okay.
yeah, because.
I don't think that, well, I guess that really ain't technically an alley, but
Right.
kind of an alley.
Yeah. So back up to the ordinances, building codes, building permits.
I gave everyone a copy of, I had sent it to Michelle and Tom, and then I sent a copy to Max. I apologize that it didn't print out in any colors like it was in the email, but what I did, the light printing is where we've suggested changes. I actually had lined out decks and patios, storage sheds, driveways, parking areas, sidewalks, and fences as not needing building permits. Max had a question about property line encroachment potential when those specific items. So I don't know if we should put, you don't need a building permit for these if you've met the variance requirements.
And that's where I see we probably need to keep them in there, and then people can come in and see us, because then they're gonna say, I didn't think I needed it, because it's in there that it says you don't need it. And you know, I mean, just kind of simplify it if it's close, because a lot of times I've seen where people, I mean, if we didn't say anything, they would have built like right a awning or anything. Like I've seen multiple things where it's like, I want to build that. Well, then there's no, it's like right up against property line, and then we have to referee that. So I'd rather referee it on the front end, and better be safe than sorry on that.
When someone comes in to get a building permit, we go over the property line information with them and all of that, or we just take,
So we have we can, to the best of our ability, use GIS. It's not exact. Like Max usually handles all that, and it's basically, you need to get a survey and know where your property line is.
A lot of times they'll have a sketch. When you get a
Right.
building permit, there's a sketch sheet that actually goes along with that.
Okay,
Now, if somebody's putting a ramp in, obviously you don't need a sketch, but if, say they're putting in a utility building, it's got to be, 3 feet off the alley, or 6 feet from the house, like that's a fire requirement in the chief.
Oh, I was reading over.
Oh, I think you gotta be 6 feet off the primary house with a storage shed, so you guys can get in between.
And that's not the fire code.
It's in the ordinance book.
In the ordinance,
I always thought that was for you guys, but,
The fire code is 20 feet. Yeah.
okay.
But
But anyway, there's stuff like that I'll go over with them. And we really never have any problems.
okay.
My main thing, and what I get more than anything is privacy fences. Like I say, I just tell them, if you know where your fence is at. I suggest 24 inches inside of that, so you can maintain both sides of your fence. That way your neighbor can't tie onto your
Okay,
fence.
so you do talk to them.
Yeah.
Okay,
That would include people that maybe want to redo their driveway and they don't have any neighbors. They can only encroach on their own property.
Yeah, to me, if you're doing a,
If they're redoing.
say
the
you're redoing your
Right,
driveway, I don't know why you
it's
need a
not
permit.
good, but you're right, that's
I
not.
mean, if
what we
mine's
need.
cracked, if I want to go in there, if I get flushed with cash someday and pour new concrete, why should I get a permit when just replacing concrete for concrete, but
All right. And then D, building permits will not be required for replacement windows, replacement doors, garage doors, exterior siding, gutters, downspouts, roofing, roof structures, sign face replacements, kitchen remodel, including cabinet sinks, countertops, bathroom remodel, toilet tubs, shower sinks, vanities, basement remodel, including kitchens, bathrooms, and wet bars, painting, interior, exterior, driveway ceilings, masonry, repairs to decks, porches, floor work, including ceramic, vinyl, carpeting, building insulation, temporary accessory structures, playhouses, storage sheds, factory equipment, new furniture, water heater, electrical service, wading pools or kiddie pools less than 24 inches deep.
I'm in agreement to all that. Interior especially, I mean, it's,
Anybody else have any input?
or
on that?
exterior if you're making your house look better.
What are we gonna do about this? This.
Well, I'm thinking this is new,
What are you guys this?
decks and patios or storage sheds,
Oh, okay.
And then number 16, on what it's.
I guess
it's not.
temporary.
Okay,
So if it's temporary, does that mean a building's only temporary if it's not on a foundation?
I've always told people they're not allowed to have mobile homes in town.
So I mean, a
If you're
building, a
doing a
shed.
double wide, they gotta be on the foundation.
Yeah, it's talking about playhouses and storage
Storage
sheds less
sheds.
than 130 square feet.
Oh, I thought you said 16, 17, I'm sorry. My ears are going
16.
bad. My 16 says mobile home.
well, it's under the, where they would, permits not. included.
Oh, I'm sorry. Guys.
Right.
Right.
My question. would
That's
be,
what storage
took off
sheds,
Storage sheds and accessory structures, but left gazebos and pergolas because
Well, good question. I guess because of the issue we run into with the detached garage at the
yeah, we touched.
last
Yeah.
meeting. So I don't know, gazebos and pergolas.
The more decorative things, I would think, but.
agree.
I don't know, that's why we're throwing it out. there.
Would council be opposed to leaving a lot of the outdoor structures in the permit requirement, but just get rid of the fees? Make them get a building permit, but no fees.
Hmm.
That way we know whether or not they're gonna encroach,
Right.
or whether they're violating zoning code.
right?
Yeah.
But they don't have no reason to complain, because they're not paying
They're
any
not.
fees. They're just letting us know who's doing the work, what's gonna be done, etc.
Mhm.
We just have to give up 10 minutes of their time.
Well, I didn't send Bob one because I wanted us to discuss it and then come up with some ideas, and then I want you to do whatever you need to it. So I think that's a good suggestion.
Mhm.
I think the other changes I made was under 1305.04 under fees. I did highlight that, increase the 5,000 to 10,000. So if it's going to cost up to 10,000, then they would need a permit. Commercial would be 15. Those were just my ideas, and I think 1305 contracts of specified work must be registered. I wish, we could ensure that that's happening. Michelle and I both had questions on signs. Is that, I know Max said that has to do with commercial. Is that what that is on
Yeah,
number 11?
usually like say, Michelle wanted to put a big light at Dean's sign in attached to her building that goes through Middies, because they
Okay.
make sure the structure points and electricity to its right.
What was your other question, Michelle? Do you remember?
I was wondering about the repairs of damage to buildings and whether or not we should make them pay for a permit if they have damage, they're gonna have to pay to have it fixed
For example,
anyway.
the tree fell on your house.
Exactly. Do we need a permit for that? Yeah. That was the only other one that I wondered about.
Commercial side would go through meetings on that.
Commercial.
I don't think commercial would have to go through meetings on that.
Bobby a paper copy.
I gave him one. I gave him my.
All right.
What's
Thanks
Middies?
for looking up for Michelle.
They used to hire builders, there are buildings.
So how do you,
There are
here's
inspection
here's
Okay.
my question.
Yeah. so
Thank
How do
you.
you, if
Just
no
for
one
commercial,
is
not residential.
required to get a permit, then how do you expect contractors to register? Like that's why are you gonna register to be a contractor if you don't
Well, they
have to
should be-
come here to get a permit for it?
They should be paying city income taxes with their employees and.
Right.
So,
But the problem with that one is you still need to get that down, because if they're not working 21 continuous days, didn't Bob say that it's not 21 days, they don't have to pay?
I don't think it's continuous. I think it's just 21
I think
days
it is.
within,
It's
Calendar year.
continuous.
I remember looking that up. I don't think it is. And it's like these businesses come in town and plant hanger signs and don't register. They're in here doing ropes and
Somebody's doing pressure
HVAC.
washing in the whole city. They ought to pressure wash the city volunteer. As much free advertisements are getting.
I guess that's a
Some
different,
things look-
that's a
Yeah,
different
that's a whole
discussion on
different-
the.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
But
I think that when you get to those signs, you mentioned with signs, along with looking at this, I think you can regulate all those signs in the tree lawn, because that's the city right away. I think the only signs you have to stay away from, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, are political signs. I think everything else, you have the right to regulate. If
Don't
you
we
wanna
have a
come-
guy in charge of that?
What's that?
Don't we have a worker that's in charge of that? Isn't that part of his job duties?
Oh, Public Works, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, there's
What a sign.
a sign man,
Well, we have a
Used to be.
sign man that puts stop signs up.
the
and-
street signs and
street
stuff.
signs up,
Those-
but
that's-
not
those
really
others.
tears
Okay,
anything
yeah.
down.
Charge
Yeah.
a permit for people to put out 30 signs. so to
Hold on a
speak.
second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to, you can tell them that if a property owner gives them permission, put it on their property.
on their property, but not,
Behind the tree lawn,
right,
behind the sidewalk, then that's one thing.
you know,
Between the sidewalk and the street, I think council can stop all those.
I think we already have an ordinance. that-
We do,
I thought
we
we
did
did.
say, we can already, the Public Works can get down through and pull every one of those.
Yeah, we
signs
can
and throw
pull
away.
any sign on city right away.
well, everybody just seems to ignore them, and now we're starting to look like a junk sign city. We're asking people to take care of their properties, mow the grass, cut their weeds. And then we have, I hope I'm not buying the signs from Mike, but we have hanger signs all over town, and it's, to me, it's degrading, and it,
But so with that said, we also have summer concert series signs and.
and those
tree
are
lawns.
down and up.
Right. So.
I saw them for a couple of days and never picked up, but,
Right,
and if someone puts a roof on my house and puts a sign in my yard, that couple weeks and then
Right,
it needs to be
right.
gone. But the tree lawn,
State just pulls them and when they mow, they just pull them, throw them away.
Mhm.
And then also Frontier Power, when they just pull them off, they pull them and throw them away too.
we do now, entrance and exit on the new bridge. Or the contractors have been advised to don't mow around them, pull them. So that way, when you go up the exit, I saw one or two the other day, but they just disappear because we don't need a yard sale coming into town.
Our main entrance coming into town there on Second Street and Sycamore.
Yeah, right by
It's-
you.
it's pretty-
Yeah, I mean, you
it's
can't even
pretty bad.
read the
well, not
signs.
Otsego and
Like, I
Pleasant
mean,
Valley
we're that
also.
close to go. I just saw that the other
You're going
day.
by a farmer's market.
Anyway. Bob, you've heard our discussion. Give us some input. And
My input is, like I said, make on residential free building permits, but still require them at least for the outside work so that we can control the zoning violations. On the inside stuff, don't even require it.
All right,
I like that.
You want me to make those changes?
yes, please. And we'll let it,
So just to be
Run
clear, if
its
somebody's
course.
doing an addition on their house, they need to, that's gonna cost money, correct?
They're doing an addition?
Yes. But not
Well,
patios and stuff like that. What's in
that's
the
up to you
ordinance?
guys. I mean, if, to me, I was gonna make all residential free. It's commercial pay, but if you wanna make residential over 10,000 pay or whatever, that's your guys' choice. I just need that. You should have told me that last year. I paid a building permit for my basement.
what you get for not inviting us up. What do you think, Tom?
I think that if somebody's putting an addition on their house, I don't have a problem with the $25 for up to the 10,000 that you got there for a permit. And again, I don't have a major problem if you just do away with the charges for residential either.
Well, so all the ones that we have that we were gonna remove, can we go ahead and remove those? And then the ones like the decks and patio storage sheds, the ones that Max commented on the property line issues,
Yeah,
we do
Bob,
those for you with the permit?
yeah, Bob
and take
understands
off the
I think,
rest?
what we're trying to do, and we'll let him reword it and rework
Yeah.
it and get it back to us, and then we'll say yes or no.
So do you guys want to keep the $25 for 10,000? You just want it residential free. I think that's what Bob wants to know. And then he'll make it retroactive.
It doesn't matter to me either way.
Yeah, I agree. I'm good either way. It's $25.
Want a $10,000 project, you could probably afford a $25.
I'm searching ordinances.
I was looking to, it's, I just messaged Jackie and called her. It's 21 days. It's not, it doesn't have to be 21 continuous
That's
days.
what I thought.
It could be total 21 days.
So what do you guys want to do?
Um,
It can't be, it doesn't matter. It's gotta, we gotta decide.
what do you think, Mike? Take it out or $25?
$25, I think it's fair and equitable for everyone.
Over 10,000.
Any other comments on this?
Appreciate Tom and Michelle getting back to me as part of the committee.
Raji, can you forward this to Amy?
Yeah.
Here it comes. Okay. Skip down, we'll skip the mayor for right now. Sherry, what do you have on the agenda?
In keeping with Mark last week for the American Rescue Plan, I have this worksheet I wanted to pass out to everybody and pass that one around. that I went ahead and put together for you. Good. Dave or Bob, if you want one. I can. Anyways, Mark had discussed with you that he would like of our American Rescue, the ARPA funding. We are scheduled July 15th to receive our second allotment of $578,801.98. Right now, you can see on the cash or in the statement here, we have cash $458,612.68. There's outstanding encumbrance of $68,000. That's for the SPP, the I just forgot what SPP.
Strategic
Straight-
Public
yes,
Partnership.
thank you. I had a note, but it didn't print. That is still encumbered and to be paid $68,000. So your unencumbered balance $396.12. That leaves $969,414.66. Mark had expressed that he would like to be able to use $200,000 for fire hydrants, $200,000 towards alley paving, and the rest would just be for general government services. And if we have the paving go out, if we outsource the paving, we have to go through all the federal procurement. And it has to be bid, and you're gonna have to prevailing wages and, you know, a lot more in detail on that. So Julian Group, you know, we contracted with them at the very beginning. Their recommendation is to use it, offset your salaries with it. And it's just can be used for general government services. And that is the easiest thing to do, is to offset. So what that would show you, what I went ahead and did is to show you what our salaries are in those three areas, the general fund, water, and the street, where they are at, sitting at what, since June 30th. So essentially what I would do is I would internally reclassify salary expenses from the water fund to the American Rescue Fund, $200,000. That frees up $200,000 cash in the water fund that they can go ahead and buy their fire hydrants, make their repairs that they want to do. And same with street. Then they can go ahead and do the paving on their own. And then the general fund is the rest of it. If that's what you, to me, this is the easiest way. It will truly help our general fund. And that's why I said to Tom, had the budget not passed, 2 weeks ago, I would have made these changes to reflect in there by reducing what our estimated expenses would be in the general fund. But it's already passed, so it'll just look the way it is, at the budget hearing. But I just wanted to give you this picture and explain to you, we do have those guidelines with that ARPA funding. And this would really be the simplest way for the reporting and, spending it all this year will throw us into a single audit for next year because our expenses will exceed $750,000. And I talked with Melissa, our state auditor, and she was kind of like, and I said, my thought is just use it, get the reports filed, be done, move on.
Right.
And rather than worry about reallocate, some of it this year and let's do some of
Right,
it
a
next
little bit
year.
over here. I mean, it really just streamlines, or it's the same thing. We're just
And makes it much
moving
less of a
from
headache.
here to here.
But I mean, most importantly, being able to use, it's the one time that, and they've said it to me repeatedly, that you're getting money to help your general fund. And I know I expressed that, a few months back.
So now they can take the doom and gloom out of the Tribune.
Well, this it's gonna give you basically a $570,000 Band-Aid,
right.
but that's a one-time.
That's
And I'm gonna go back in history when we were, Bob knows when we were in a deficit and we got a one-time huge $1 million estate inheritance. 2 years later, 3 years later, we were right back in the deficit. So, I mean, it's not the win. I mean, it's a Band-Aid.
Slogans.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
So
hope they quote you saying it's a Band-Aid.
it's a Band-Aid. That's fine, Mark. I
It
mean,
gives us an extra year, you know?
I feel like you just want to joke about the general fund all the time. And you told me the other day you don't take it serious, but it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're smiling at me,
I
but
think the general
is.
fund is hilarious, Sherry.
no,
Like,
you
what?
told me the other day you're not worried about it. I am. So I'm sorry if
Wor-
I'm
Worry
worried about
doesn't,
it.
hey, worry doesn't pay the bill, Sherry. Intelligence does.
Wow.
Wow,
I
that's
don't think
right.
that was necessary.
I don't think that was necessary at all. I'm just expressing,
Which part,
As
her part or
auditor.
my part?
Both.
I'm just saying as auditor, I'm concerned. And it is a Band-Aid. So if they want to quote me saying it's a Band-Aid, it is. I've seen it before, Mark.
Sherry,
I've seen
we no longer get estate money, is that correct?
it. Correct.
What does that cost us, you think, over the last few years? What do we average on that a year before?
We used to average $400-some thousand a year.
And the state government decided that,
Yeah. Mhm.
so that's another just gap in our income.
Yeah. I mean, that
It's hard to
happened in
make
what,
out.
12 or something?
Okay, you also have your auditor's report, which will, if Chad can, we'll get those passed. And I just talked to Bob before the meeting started. I think what we can do on, instead of suspending the rules and give it the second and third reading, we can rescind the rules and go straight to the third reading for appropriations and transfers. But the ones that are going to run the course are building permits, important ones that we don't want passed in one reading. Okay, so.
We
let's
still have
check.
to have 6 members present to rescind.
Yes.
the rules.
Yes,
So we rescind the rules and give it, a-
Third reading.
Go
or
straight to the
just say
third.
third reading.
yeah. Rescind the rules. Go straight to the third reading. We won't do it, we won't be able to do it tonight, so. Okay, Mayor,
I don't know. I mean, since Sherry knows everything, I should probably let her report for me, but I'll give you my report here.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, that is way out of line. There's no need for that.
I have a proposal for OHM. It's a downtown master plan. It's actually came in at 48,000. I'll email it out. Not
sorry,
sure.
what's OHM?
They're just advisors. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure what the.
Oh, okay,
I don't
it's an
know what
advisory
it-
group?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what it stands for. I need Lanny, downtown director Lanny Spalding has went to the foundation and talked to them, and I want to maybe possibly get match dollars. Talked to Sherry today and needed an appropriation for that. So I'm not sure where we're going to get that from, but we're going to definitely, I think, to move forward. We're going to need these people. They actually led Newark's renovations downtown. So I'll email that out and we'll try to figure out where we're going to get appropriations at for that. Hickory Street lot, I sent an email out.
Now you want that? Now,
Probably
if we
next,
go,
next meeting. If
it'll
we
get its,
can.
it'll get its first reading. You brought that up, but
Yeah,
Roger won't be here, so I'll have to go probably till the end of September. If we go through the 3 readings.
yeah, I mean, it's just.
Is
gonna
that-
have
I
to-
mean-
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna have to wait. till
Okay.
We can get a vote on it. It's not.
Okay, I just wanted you to
don't think
realize
it's
it
like-
because
yeah,
Roger's not
I
gonna
don't
be
think
here.
It's
Yeah.
like tomorrow. I mean, as long as it, by the end of the year, I think we should.
Okay.
We should get that done.
Okay.
Talked to a gentleman not a couple weeks ago about Airbnb regulations. We probably need something on the books for Airbnb, just because it's or VRBO or Airbnb, one or the other. Just because it would protect, different neighborhoods and and where you could rent something out. So wanted to look into that. I met with some people from a local club about gaming licensure. And I agreed, kind of the state and the attorney general has changed the way gaming licensure is done now. Establishments can only have 10 machines. And I agreed, since they're paying more at the state level, as long as they're legitimate machines that the AG knows about and they're going through all their state licensure, I agreed that we should probably get rid of the game room license and just charge per machine $300. So it will be something that that gaming licensure, right now it's $250. I believe a game room license is $1,500 per year. So it would take that $1,500 per year away, and then it would put machines at right now they're at $250, and just move those to $300 a machine. So just to save
The state regulates how many machines are in an establishment, correct?
yes, and right now the maximum is 10.
10.
Yeah.
You're talking like
Go ahead.
local lodges?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, the lodges and fraternal organizations or veterans organizations is who I would like to. That's really, if you're operating legitimately, that's who's operating them legitimately through the state's program. And since the licensure through the state is costing the clubs more money, I figured we could give them a break. I mean, as long as they're operating legitimately. I've had several messages lately about people going the wrong way on 16. It's only open westbound. So I want to remind people, you can get to Zanesville, you can get to Newark, but you can't get back into town at Cleveland Cliffs. So just want to remind people that. And then Sherry talked about what we're doing with the ARPA money. Basically, my goals are to get all fire hydrants in working order, as well as get priority alleys. We've identified some. If you guys, 200,000 does not go a long way, even when we're doing the work ourselves.
By alleys, you mean your patching, paving? Or-
Paving. We and the city will do that ourselves.
Do you have a
to
list? Do
save.
you have a list you could shoot to us?
Yeah, I have an idea. I have a ballpark, and I kind of want to do a couple in each ward. And that's probably going to be all that we're going to be able to afford. So more high traffic areas, where people are using them, we're trying, or if they're just completely deteriorated to the point where it's, and there's a long list of
Can
those
we,
in the city.
Kind of graph on how long it takes the Kimball trucks to tear up the new work that he
Well,
got
I'd
there?
like to, so I believe that Kimball, the contract, my idea is move all the trash out of the alleys and get the trash trucks out of the alleys, but I don't want to misspeak, but I think our contract, when we're up contract time, that's the time to say we want trash pickup in the streets and not the alleys.
That's a
I
little,
believe.
excuse me, I'm sorry. It's a little difficult in areas like Hamilton Avenue where they've got a 4 or 5
Right,
foot
a
steep
big bang,
bank
right. I
going
mean,
down.
but maybe we can
Walls.
identify,
Places that we
some
could
place
change,
we
right.
could. Most places you can get, I agree with that too, though. I mean, if your garage is out back and it's handy to
Sure.
throw your trash out, and it's right there.
It'd have to be reasonable.
If
Right,
it's not, if it's not
But they're
reasonable
just
to do that, we
crushing.
need to require our trash contractor to bring in a smaller truck
Mhm.
Well-
instead of ripping the heck out of it.
Well, and the thing with smaller trucks is the weight of the trucks are not much different. The weight of the trucks, I mean, you're just moving a single axle to a double axle. The double axle spreads the weight out more, so you're really not
I'd have to-
Yeah, it's a smaller bin on the truck, so
Right.
they won't have to.
Well, then
Yeah.
then it's more trips and your cost goes up. So, and we can look at, but as far as cutting curbs and cutting areas, it just, it's all over town. So we need to look at how we don't destroy our alleys and, they have, right now, Public Works has them. There are some that haven't been touched, but most, I've been trying to identify alleys and a lot of them are fixed, but they're bumpy. But you go paving alleys, it's like paving a street. It's, people are gonna fly up and down the alleys. So it's kind of, it's one of those things.
Mayor, have you looked at any ordinances? I hate to back up here, but the Airbnbs.
We need to research what other places are doing.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to, well, the gentleman we spoke to, his house is probably $1 million home. And in a pretty nice area, with other large expensive homes and, to say we're gonna rent this out for an Airbnb and have weddings or, we have to have some type of, I want it to happen. It's good for tourism, but it's, and other towns have struggled with the same exact thing. Yeah, right. So, I mean, and then it takes away from affordable housing as well. So, I mean, when you're in a tourist area, then it's clogging, it's taking away housing inventory that we already don't have.
Okay. I just wondered if you'd look, so that's something.
No, I need.
That's
to
something that the
research
ordinance
that
committee
more.
needs to start looking at. Is that correct? Is that what you want on
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they can-
yeah. Who's on the ordinance?
right now?
committee?
It's Michelle, Tom, and Roger.
Okay,
It's like the Canton Akron area is going through the same thing right now, Plain Township.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword because it takes housing inventory, puts strange people as in your neighborhood.
Well,
you
People
know?
buy homes and then you lose what we're trying to gain.
Right, and then, it just, I mean,
Yeah.
you want it, but you don't want it, so it's
Right.
like, we need to identify areas that you wanna let, I mean, it's really a part of zoning and, to me, it's good and bad.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, I'll answer any questions if anyone has any.
Can I jump back to this real quick? Because this is not set in stone. I actually wanted to finish saying that, this is something that I'm recommending, but council, I want you to say, if you want to spend more on fire hydrants, you want to spend more on alleys, let me know so I can, this can keep, these salaries are going to keep growing up in, water and,
So do we need to do that in
and
council?
so I will say, when I talked with our auditor, she had recommended that I get council's approval.
So in chambers.
No, here, it's fine, just because, Amy has minutes
Yeah.
and, just as long as we discuss and,
Is it
that
an
everybody's
appropriation?
on, there'll be appropriation ordinance, yes, for the full amount. But, if you want to designate at different line items, I can break it down that way.
Well, I think you and Mark probably sat down or worked this out, right?
No, I did this.
You did this.
Based
Okay.
off of what Mark said last
Yeah.
based off of
Yeah,
what
right,
he said,
yeah.
the 200,000 in general government services.
I think
But
it
I'm
needs to
just
be line
saying,
item.
with his conversation here now, and, 200,000 isn't gonna get you much
No, but
alley paving and
but
stuff.
it's a balance of general fund and what we have and what I think, and, kind of just ballpark to prop the general fund up and to spend within our means what we have. It's a start. So,
I guess I would suggest that whatever the amount is needed to correct our fire hydrant issue, we should
Right.
address first, and then whatever's,
Then you're gonna like what you have it worked out here is what the changes that you have scheduled to make, or just the 200,000?
That's just based off of Mark's comment 2 weeks ago that he would like to, or then he came into my office and said 200,000 for here, 200,000 for there. Rest of it, general government services. So that's
Right.
how I prepared this off of here.
Does it make sense to you? And you just said that if you do it in a one-time thing, then you're done with it and
It does
Get the
make sense to
papers
me, and
filed.
it does make sense to have it be the easiest way to help take care of salaries. But I want council to be sure that they're okay with it supporting.
well, it's gonna be a one-year
Basic.
fix,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but I want to make sure that, we're getting this money. Are you okay with it, kind of helping the general fund there this year? Or would you rather see more go for fire hydrants and getting that work done? Or would you rather see more for paving?
Well,
It's really, I feel like I want you guys should,
I think we need to
say
protect the
that.
general fund,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
But
I
if
mean,
we can make
that's
those
my-
improvements at the same time, then
If you have fire hydrants that aren't working, they
yeah,
need fixed.
I think the plan is good.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's,
yeah,
you know,
that's life saving.
is 200,000 enough to get you started?
Yes, it's enough to get us started. Chief and I have worked together like in the last 2 weeks since our last meeting. We've got 5 done, right? These were fairly low cost. But we did a couple prior. I used one, we had 30,000 in fixing one. Until we get to each one, it's tough when you say, this will be $1, this will be $30, till we actually dig into each one. And we're gonna try and get that total cost number identified. Because our biggest unknown is, let's say this hydrant broke off. Can we get it shut down to repair? One of the ones we had to put in a new valve, move pipe, and so it's tough to say it's gonna be exactly 200,000, but it'll make a big dent in what Chief and I talked about, there's 24, I think somewhere in that range. It's truly out of service. The other ones leak, need some minor maintenance, but we're addressing the
We're
one.
at 70 total,
But
right around that number.
But there's 24 that are out of service. That's what we're concentrating on. The other ones will work in event of emergency. They're not perfect. So we'll make a big dent in those 24. Those are the ones we need to address that are broken off or truly don't function.
How much would it be on estimate for those 24 that are totally out of service?
I don't have a good number yet. I'll look at that, try to have that for the next meeting. We'll try to get to all those, see if we can get them isolated. But that's the range, One I've got 30 in, the other one I got $300, so.
$30,000.
You know, I mean, if. I'm just saying this, I mean, if 200,000, in my opinion, then, they're gonna look nice, so let's make the other ones that are serviceable start looking nice too, instead of sitting there rusty. But don't we have a machine or something? We're supposed to be able to paint
The
those.
problem with the machine is most of the fire hydrants are so old,
Breaks them off.
it just breaks them.
Oh,
Like,
Lord.
And
so,
I've looked at that, Tom. I've had estimates of painting them with an outside source because lead paint, all the other associated
Yeah.
environment. And the price per hydrant varies from $250 to $1,000.
and we have 825, 800 fire hydrants.
Yeah.
So,
So, my goal right now,
To get them serviceable.
is get them, all the
Okay.
out of service ones serviceable, and then go to plan B and look at the other ones that are leaking real bad, that are a nuisance for his people, address those next. Painting's not gonna happen this year. Let's get them serviceable, so they work, so in event of emergency, that should be the
We gotta
priority.
keep public as safe as possible, that stuff.
Exactly.
I want to go back, once we're done with this discussion, to Mark's
Well,
VRBO or Airbnb.
so you guys okay with the way the appropriations are? Sherry needs to know.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I think it makes sense.
Sorry, I went on.
No, that's all right.
All right,
Ohio House passed a bill 563 that prohibits cities from regulating Airbnbs and VRBOs and short-term rentals. It still has to pass the Senate, but
yeah, I knew that was in the works, so I
it
don't
passed the
know.
House.
Right.
So just thought I'd throw that out there.
That doesn't help us. So
No.
really, we should wait and see what,
What the
because
Senate
it's a
does.
waste of time if you're trying to regulate something that's
The state's
we're gonna be
regulate for us or
out-regulated. Yeah.
Deregulate.
Right.
anything else for the mayor? Max?
Getting ready to start over at Rock, Stetler Hill. We pulled up repairs over there, getting ready for paving. I'll be at the end of August. Roscoe's pretty well finished. Been patching holes the last 2 days with the hot mix.
Sidewalks done, this place.
Sidewalk is done on Roscoe.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's what they're doing, after having to find, get the right person with the gas company. They're waiting until they get several things here and then bringing the guy, I forget what the guy is or the company, but I guess that makes sense. But I see there's a new one down by the Elks on Fifth Street. So, I mean, every time they have a leak, then you got a problem, but
It only makes sense if they don't wait months and months.
Exactly.
What they do now is they don't fix them themselves. They wait for 15 holes and then the contractor comes in, which doesn't help us at all.
Yeah.
Like, because we don't want to wait for 10 holes in the
Right.
road and then like,
And we stipulate to the gas company, it has to be repaired within a certain time frame.
That sidewalk was
as long as we're gonna follow the
Early
same
fall.
thing.
well,
last fall.
and Max had to actually meet with, like, it was a meeting. Yeah, like a special meeting, like fix the holes.
Had a meeting with John Cleek. That's our handles the CDBG money. And there's a possibility, and this would be more for wards 1 and 2. Mike's familiar with this, is when we went with the rebite project, that we could come back with that again for a $750,000 project. Now that we finished up 8th and 9th, and there's another one that's finishing that wasn't in the city. So that will open that back up, and alley paving could be one. You have to have 3 items to those, under those projects, as far as, so we could do sidewalk repair, alley repair, stormwater repair, new bus shelters. I mean,
Yeah.
same kind of list that we used the last time for your award. Yeah.
Right?
So there may be some additional funds out there that we can use to, because most of our alleys are in the 1st and 2nd wards. You get out in the 3rd and 4th ward, that's when they've done the big housing developments, and not a lot of alleys out in there. And those areas will qualify for your LMI money, so more to come on that. The meeting with Cleek originally is about, I don't know if you all remember, we received that $83,000 this year as part of CDBG. It was going to be used for streetlights. Once you got the quotes, that didn't even cover the poles, let alone the lights or installation. So we're looking at using it for the engineering to connect the sidewalk that the commissioners ran down 6th Street to Plum, and use it for engineering to come across the tracks there on Browns Lane, and on the sidewalk down past the city garage, beach company, to get people into Bueller's with their carts and wheelchairs from like the Commons and the Meadows. And so we think we can go a long way for $83,000 with engineering and concrete, especially if we do a little bit ourselves. So we backed off the street light. We'll tackle that one. We get into the downtown rebite as part of that project. So more to come on that, but there is that money out there, and we are going to use it for that project. So that's something we thought we could put the money towards. It helps most people. So it has to be for LMI residents. So, Warsaw project, just a quick update. We did not make the cut, unfortunately, this year for the EPA loan forgiveness program. I think there was some bad information that they had. Jump in here, Dave, if I'm saying anything out of step, but we're going to go through the public comment period on July 26th. Still working with RCAP and Omega. We had a good call with the heads of the EPA, and we think that they didn't feel like our project was far enough along. they really didn't understand that we'd been in several meetings with Warsaw as well as Riverview School. I don't know if we didn't do a good enough job explaining that. We may have played the game wrong of going for the entire package where we would have ran water towards the House of Jacobs. We asked for almost a $14 million project there. When the main goal is to get it to Warsaw and Riverview School, which would have been that $10 million range, and yesterday was dollars. It's hard to tell what it is today.
Right.
Some more to come on that. Well, it looks like that they're going to consider possibly giving us a 50% forgiveness on the design phase, which is still almost $1 million project. If they've done that, Jeanette at Omega feels that we could use half of the Army Corps grant that we received towards that project already to put towards that design. So that means we can almost do it with no cost to us and have a shovel ready then project that we could go after in 2024. So more to come on that, but that's kind of where we stand.
As Matt said is that by the end of this month, there's a public comment period on all the funding. We're supposed to have a response back to them so they can give us an idea how we're going to rescore.
Yeah.
Because they did neglect to include that Warsaw has some well issues, water quality issues. Even the reps, oh yeah, I knew about that, but they didn't put it into their funding plan. And that'll be the key milestone to see how high we potentially score. Because if they still only give us a couple more points, I think the one that got funded with principal forgiveness was at 15, we were at 2. So we've got to see how high the score can go to determine the level of funding.
And we also, to add to that, we had a meeting through SPP last week with
Right, trying to figure out what these
EPA,
extra points can
RCAP,
be.
all the different people that we need to know, why didn't this score as well as it should have? So we had a meeting through SPP last week with all the powers that be that are associated with that.
Because right now with their funding ranking, the only thing they can give us is 0% interest on $12 million, and that's
It's not financially viable to go up there for that. So they could, Warsaw couldn't afford it, neither did we. So.
Did you say we have to wait till 2024 to hear?
Well, see that now this would become 2023 where you would do your design this year. You need to resubmit in 23 and then the shovels will hit the ground in 24. Yeah. So we'll have the public hearing tonight. Hannah Stillions from Omega come in earlier today, took some pictures of Hall Park and everything. She will be here for the public comment hearing. And Chad's not here, but I talked to Robin Schoenauer, repositioning the restroom again for the concert Saturday night. Seemed to work very well last time. Nobody tore it up. Anybody's got any questions?
I'm still getting people complaining about the lights at the corner or at the intersection of Second Street and the plaza. Not being able to see the lights headed east. I don't know what the answer is, but
Well, we put,
What am I
actually,
to ask?
we put that light on, that the funding that we got through ODOT, we actually wanted that light engineered to replace that whole intersection as well. So I don't know. We have to see what the cost comes back on that total project to see, because I'd like something done with that. I mean,
we
it
just turn them for right
yeah.
now.
Well, they turn them and then I don't know that when
Didn't seem to ever be a problem until the last
readjust.
year.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
if something's maybe loose or broken
I
or.
don't know if it seems like since Dollar General went in there, that's when it all
happens more
started.
often,
So I
they
don't
get
know
turned.
if it's something, how the
Tension on the
line
wires
went
or
on the
something?
pole. I don't know, but it seems like that's when it all started where like they
I'll see what we
adjusted.
can do in the
and
Thank you.
readjusted.
Just told them I'd bring it up.
Anything else?
Max, I got a question about the Hall Park. renovation? What exactly are they going to do?
We're
What
going-
are they going to do up there?
If you would go up there right now, you'll see a big square around where the existing swing sets are. You have the old type swings. We'll go in there, we'll take 8 to 10 inches out of that, cut the sod. And instead of putting the mulch in like we did at Bancroft, I've actually got a price for the rubber grindings. And then we can choose what color we want in there, green, blue, brown. So that'll dress that up, and then there'll be a dual handicap swing. One you can put a wheelchair in, and the other one you can actually strap kid in the swing that's in a wheelchair if you don't want to put the whole wheelchair in. And then that piece of equipment that gets used all the time at Bancroft, it's like I call it a merry-go-round with ropes. Yeah, I mean, you can't really buy a merry-go-round
You'll put that in
anymore.
the, I'm sorry, by there, you go put it in the middle of the.
It'd be on the side towards Hathaway's. If you notice, there's a
Okay.
big rectangle there. That's where there used to be that plastic deal that kind of fell apart and we tore it out because I was scared somebody get cut on it. So, and then hopefully we'll have enough funds that we can get a sidewalk from the play area to the restroom. We've got several handicap tables. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that or not, but
What kind of money are you looking at to ask?
like the Nature Works grant, there's 38,000 available this year.
Because you just got 60 here a couple of years ago.
That's 2018.
Okay,
That's what we put the walking path and the new
Right.
courts in with.
okay.
And if any volunteer groups are listening and they would like to paint the playground again, it was painted in 2018. It could use a fresh coat of paint I seen today, so.
How much use does Hall Park get? Have we monitored that at all?
It depends. I mean, the basketball courts seem to get a lot of play. I'm a little disappointed that now that we put the pickleball courts in down at Kids, I don't see near as many people playing pickleball, but I know
Playing the kids?
the guys play tennis up there.
They do. It's just, I think
Kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. but
what I keep hearing is just that,
Back.
yeah, they're afraid they're going, it's so close to the fence and that drainage and the gravel to,
Yeah, that
Step back
funding is
into it.
strictly for Hall Park, though, that
Yeah.
you can't take it, okay.
Yeah.
Because like there's other areas that, something like that could be used
Well,
in.
that,
Hall Park looked pretty good to me today when I was
Yeah,
up there. I mean,
and that to me would complete Hall Park. Would be outside of normal maintenance. I think we would have what equipment we want. And then I took her to Bancroft as well, and there's a fairly good open field, but it's not so bad having an open area for kids to kick a ball either, so. I don't know if we really want to go back with a basketball court in that area, but there is a nice, I don't know, probably 1/4 acre of lot there. It's just grass.
There's a lot of kids at Bancroft.
There's kids at Bancroft all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bancroft's, but it's, the play equipment in Bancroft's restricted to smaller
That's right.
kids, so, they've got the path around there,
Yeah.
but I think there's room for maybe something else there.
What we've always told them is it's Bancroft's really 0 to 8. And then the other part was like 5 to 14.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you develop that, the waterworks park down there a little bit more. That gazebo is totally empty. You need to get some directions down there. That's really a nice area that could be developed a little farther. I mean, you could clear I know the bank's been cleared, the church cleared the bank. That'd be a great fishing place for kids to go. I mean,
It would though.
there's a lot of, I don't know.
What really
To me,
needs
Hall
to
Park
happen
looks
right
pretty
there
good.
is
Yeah.
dredged.
I'm sorry.
We really need to get the Tuscaroras or whoever we would go through to dredge that area at the end of the boat ramp.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty shallow right there, and
Mhm.
supposedly some of the best smallmouth fishing in the state is right there at that bridge. We had a guy come in there, and a whole nother deal, and went down there and tried it, and he said forecast, he had 4 smallmouth, so apparently he knows what he's talking about, so that area could be developed more.
Sure, you have an update?
yeah, Jackie wanted me to clarify that the 21 day is, she said that's for payroll withholding only. If they are a business and they do business in the city, they have to file a net profit return regardless of the number of days they're here. So that 21 day is payroll withhold. Okay. Just to clarify that.
All right, council, I got a letter from Bob Belmont, the City of Coshocton Planning and Zoning Commission met on May 25th to hear a request from Heaven Above for a zoning variance for a parcel at 2491 Cambridge Road. They denied it with unanimously. And does anybody have any objections by maintaining what the zoning commission did? I don't think we want to do anything with it. Okay, Rob, I apologize. You were speaking. I cut you off. You have anything?
I was only speaking on Roger talking about signs.
Oh.
And that, talking about permits at the same time, what if you actually require permits for X amount of number of signs where they have a number designated to that individual? And then you would know what date they went up and there was a certain time.
Have to come down.
Yes, and that way you know. who you're dealing with.
Problem with that is you got an ordinance, another ordinance, who's gonna police it?
Maybe you know the dates, how long they've been up, like.
That means you have to drive by and look at every date, report every date, have somebody go back. No argument that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start thinking of that.
You tell me you want them down.
You can.
just go around and take them down.
I
This pressure
actually,
washing things, I'm
where
thinking
you're
about.
at, like on that corner, I
There's some out there
actually,
by-
I almost
Jeff's house.
yesterday just got out. and just-
I know.
You turn on the
Yeah,
541.
like, I mean, there's so many you can't even see.
Does anybody have anything else?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Probably at the next meeting, I may have asked Sherry to do some appropriations. We may need a roof for the building at West Lafayette, but that'll come out of their funds. So I may have some funds transfers for some minor maintenance and stuff like that. West Lafayette building, the wind. We can repair it, but the roof is getting about 20 years old. Seeing that it's used to life anyhow versus repair, we may just do a replace. That would come out of their capital outlay, which still our money, but it's not too bad. That would be something upcoming potential to next.
That's shingled.
That's a shingle roof. I would put metal on it,
Yeah.
it's high, it's exposed. Yep. Probably just essence.
any other ordinances we need to look to add real quick before we move on to the next meeting? 6:45, you got 10 minutes. Public hearing will start.
Yeah, I emailed that proposal from OHM Advisors. to
Oh,
you
okay.
guys.
Yeah, I just got it.
Thank you.
If I could real fast, it's not for in January, but the last storm made a liar out of me about Grace Church. So if you guys don't know, they lost 2 peaks. right
Yeah,
after
you
the
said
last
that.
meeting, And the street's gonna be closed now. indefinitely,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
I just wanted to pass that along.
We were blaming you.
Yeah. So you're talking about-
Vice President. Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Probably should let the record reflect that Omega has a representative here. And Stillians.
And from Omega, can you step up to the microphone? Careful. Really?
Yeah, you tell. I'm development specialist at Omega. I'm helping Max and the city apply for a nature works grant for Home Park.
And you said your name was?
Candace
Okay. Any questions? Max answered them all.
I do. Heather, do you need anything from me as auditor? Do you need a certificate for matching funds or anything?
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Yes.
I thought I was emailing you.
That was probably Trina. It's been past ones.
Oh, no.
It's a long story.
It was another Heather.
Oh.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
I will be reaching out to you tomorrow to give me your email.
Okay.
Today and yeah.
Okay, just let me know whatever you need.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
I think we're good. I got enlightened on what the projects are and everything.
Huh?
I enlightened on what all the projects are and everything.
That's pretty much all then. Thank you.
Thanks for coming from Cambridge.
I got to eat at the warehouse.
Oh, good.
Sir?
Craig.
I guess.
I know.
Yeah.
I should.
He's
good, but he did. Are you good? Good. She put on talking to my daughter. Had a really good team. Yeah, she's very good.
So that's what.
Yes.
I get my money for all those drugs I took down.
I got a very good group. 10 or 11 of you probably. I think it's just pretty impressive. Travel all the way to Dayton for a weekend.
Well, I'll have to do it.
Things you missed.
I have a few of them.
And the lady works. She'll be short lived. Yeah. Can't get people anyway.
Oh, rather than-
Forget it.
25, 25, 26.
It'll be another tax bracket.
I don't know, I don't know anybody say, he didn't say tonight. Because I mean, you're right.
Everybody's told that.
Game not costing.
I mean, it's
Time.
but I try to get.
I really start something a little bit. Session. People for 5 years got.
Been swimming? This is the first year it's really been open. It was over last year, wasn't it? Yeah, a little bit.
Exactly, that's what.
Swimming's good.
Only because the first. You don't have the new box yet?
He didn't know if I was supposed to get one or not. You just on board 18.
Restaurant, we have a lot.
Then you
Oh,
have
Jackie's.
you as law
enforcement
enforcement get personnel, which gives you priority.
We can't right there. Go out the hill. Don't get happy.
Any family members.
You know,
You
You may have 5 bars in your house.
Well.
You might have had bad service with Verizon.
Happens when I come to the state
For a house with finger, it's called a heater.
So you call that's the only thing called
FirstNet, even though FirstNet contract is through AT&T. FirstNet is availability.
That's over on the east
We're getting 56 things.
So you probably see the Starfire.
Download.
Well, it's not elsewhere.
Verizon.
That's the cheapest.
We got as high as 74 download. And almost 30.
Your price off on that. And the bells.
Because I want to try to
Really?
since Friday.
Bulk deal order down.
I'm in my garage. Logging into my computer. I don't even have any cell
Yeah.
service.
Okay.
You know where the bad apple hub is there.
And I got a
Like, I get
log in to full service.
Gotta play softball too.
Yeah.
My mom played ball, didn't she?
And I
Yeah, I don't know.
Verizon.
For some reason, that Bell store
Snap so far with me,
always
Verizon, Verizon.
I don't
It's
know
not an
why.
issue. Everybody driving by my house with.
Maybe you said, maybe Bell stores have some.
Max, we were in North Georgia and it was 369, 379, 389 all the way through North Georgia. But as soon as you hit the Tennessee line, right back in the fours, it wasn't high fours, low fours, but it was clear in three. Like I said, I think the lowest we've seen might have been 369 in North Georgia just last week. Yeah.
And that's what we.
You're off the beaten path.
I mean, we were in North Georgia, it was
Seems like.
as rural as this is. I mean, oh yeah.
Not right off the interstate.
No, not a bit. We were probably a half hour from 75, at least maybe an hour from 75 off on a highway called 411. We would go to Cleveland, Tennessee and go southeast basically into North Georgia, Fort Mountain. Yeah,
What was in North Georgia?
mountains, the cabin in the mountains.
Seclusion.
Yeah. One 4G internet bar.
Right, exactly.
I just didn't know.
I told Josh, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I've got one for the truck.
Yeah, I was
And then
nice.
address that.
Oh,
Make sure
yeah,
we got
absolutely.
everybody coming. Not to pitch it, but yeah.
Yeah, because the big lakes are hard to afford. Something like Lake Cumberland or Dale Hollow or
I'm going.
something like that'd be.
That's too far from the SRO.
Yeah, that's true.
It's cold. It's out. Pretty
Yeah.
sure I ordered it now, but.
Stone Mountain, I mean, you know, for me, I don't. There's a lot of dispatch.
Stone Mountain.
North Georgia, in Georgia.
Yeah.
Every day. I'm on there. Almost.
Yeah, we're about an hour from Atlanta. It took us about an hour to get to Atlanta.
See, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, you know, being far
That's how
enough
much I
away
like
from
that.
people,
Yeah,
or if you want your seclusion, isolation, you have it, but also close enough to town.
yeah. And we saw bears every day and there was 3 at one time. Within 30 feet, 50, 40 feet. One had a call at tracking. We could get close enough, you could see the tracking collar on.
Someone's pet bear.
It's probably the track mating stuff, I would suspect, traveling. It's cool. It's like a big shock collar on a bear.
Sure, you have a bird again.
What's that?
You're in Gatlinburg again?
Yeah, we drove down and ate ice cream. We're close enough. We can drive down and eat ice cream.
Last year you brought them gifts.
Yeah, we didn't even, we didn't even stop in Gatlinburg. We actually went down to the creamery and Pigeon Forge. We just drove through Gatlinburg. It actually wasn't bad. It was the quickest we've ever driven through.
We're gonna stay there. Next June. Been down for a week.
I like it.
Yeah.
Her mom's house is about 40 minutes north. We just sit down and then there was a big fire in Sevierville at a restaurant while we were there.
You're back, Bob the Builder.
What?
Your name's Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder.
She told me your name was Bob the Builder. How much stuff Bob's built?
No, not very much, but I used to teach her how to dance. She didn't know how to do it at all.
No,
Yes.
I taught you how to do
What kind of dancing? I don't know. I say you dancing.
Well, we did plenty of dancing.
That's cool. That's cool.
She's very strong-willed. She demands certain songs be played.
Really.
Oh, yeah.
Is this public hearing for ordinances? No, it's for the park that got money from the insurance grant for all money. If you have a public hearing, you get more points. Yeah.
You gotta make those big shorts.
Boys don't wear pink.
This boy does.
Only girls wear pink.
I've got 2 shades of pink shorts.
I bet they're ugly.
The other one's like neon pink. Really cool.
If I knew my wife.
You're as cool as me. I can wear whatever.
I'm not cool. I'm cooler than that.
No, you're not as cool. You're cooler than Carson, I'll say that.
Or he's just lazy. He sits in a room. He sits in a chair and plays video games.
Quite a bit on weekends. Just the weekends. During the week, I might go out
How long is your
at 85.
Mine's like something like yes, 83.
Mine on 83. It just heats up from Sunday to Sunday.
They're going
to. Gas. Kill your gas.
It's not that bad. We get a cold stretch where it's gonna be like 55 out. I just get turned the damn thing off and wait till the warm weather, because nobody has to.
Is it a maintenance nightmare? No. Do you train it yourself?
Yeah.
I know how people got all the way to 100.
Is it really? They build like
It's a hot tub.
I feel funny.
They build
And I
nice.
said, I'm gonna play a game of the hot tub. So it's like,
Yeah, wait till they get their gas. I have some guy open it for me and close it for me, and I take care of the rest of the time. Now, if something goes bad, I don't.
How you doing?
Yep.
I guarantee it's under every property has.
He said he's gonna check on it. It's gonna require survey of storage, but it's the back yard he wants to keep, which I'm fine with. It's a good barrier to keep. Force them to survey that off to, you know, there's stuff there with it. So you can survey those. Really?
We give these. Yeah, the one they had.
What would be the best way to take over the contract? An easement so that we could change behind the actual.
Just give them these to keep the sheds there until they're. No longer.
Good evening. It's Monday, July 11th, 2022 at 7 p.m. It's a regularly scheduled Coshocton City Council meeting. Call to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew, here. Barcroft.
Here.
Gross.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Turner, here.
Need a motion to excuse Councilman Mishler and Councilman Johnson.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Groth?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Turner? Yes.
Okay, please stand for the pledge, please stand for the education. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to serve the city. Lord, we pray that you would be with us this evening as we, again, do this business. And we pray this in your name. Amen.
Council, your email the minutes from the June 27th meeting. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Andrews,
I'll second that.
please call the roll.
Andrews? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Groth?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Turner? Yes.
Okay, public input. Do you have anybody in attendance for public input? Welcome. Please state your name, address,
Tracy Kelton, County Road 23.
and spell your last name, please.
Kelton.
I'm Tim Walsh, same address, WLSH.
Thank you. How can we help you?
Well, we had a paper served to us and we went to court on our property at 585 South Whitewalk Street. We never got notified or anything that there was a problem. We had no clue that there was a problem until the deputy come over and told us that we needed to clean our property up. Well, that's an auction center. That's not our personal, we don't live there. What we do is we take consignments in. Well, our building is per full. Well, we have some people to drop stuff off and then they come over the next day and sign the contract. I didn't bring none of the contracts with me. That being said, we only had 3 weeks to clean the property up because he come in the middle of the month. Well, then, he told us we had till June 1st to clean it up. I didn't realize that that was a big issue because it's an auction center, it's a business.
We turn over stuff.
We turn over stuff. We have an auction every Friday, except my mother passed away 2 Fridays ago. We didn't have one then. We got an auction on site this Friday, so, don't need to, explain all that, I won't think. But anyways, since that's a business, we didn't think that, Royal King and all these other places, they've got stuff in front of their buildings. You got Tractor Supply, you got Ace Hardware, you got Bueller's, they're all businesses too. So are we. So I didn't think anything about it until we had to go to court. And then, we're a business too, but we just postponed it for 30 days until we found out what was going on, since it is not our personal property. So that being said, I don't know, we cleaned it all up. There's a stove, a gas stove, there's, a few items out front there. We have no room for it inside.
If we put them inside, then we're violating fire code.
Yes,
Because we're full up
Okay.
until we can,
we can't, if we put any more in there, we can't have.
it's not like we're just piling stuff up, piling it up, piling it up,
Right.
piling it up.
And-
We're turning stuff over the same as any other business.
So you probably have no,
He had a death in the family,
excuse
blah,
me,
blah, blah,
excuse me.
you know.
and people just basically drop stuff off there as well.
Yeah,
They sign a contract
Okay,
and they want their money when we sell it.
then our next problem is we can't get them to come and get it after their 45 days. See, we gotta hold it for 45 days, we just can't discard it.
okay,
Once that 45 days is up, then it's our belongings, then we can take to the trash or to the junkyard or put it back into our next option.
okay. I think we discussed this, and I think we're going to discuss it again at our next committee meeting. And I think as long as correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys are working to keep it cleaned up and stuff, I think
We're doing the best we can. We put 3 new buildings in, we
Okay.
build them up. I mean, I don't know what else to do besides put another building or fence it in and, you know, I can make it where you can't see the building. I can put chain link fence up and then put plastic up and then you can't see it. You know, you won't be able to see the building at all,
Yeah,
but I don't want to go to that extent.
I think some of the complaints were is like, it was like in different places, correct me if I'm wrong. And it was drawn out or laid around, how would
There was an abundance of stuff in front of the building. And that was the
Well, there,
complaint.
look now,
Well, I understand.
major league.
I did look today and it does look 99% better. I give you credit for doing that. I think that the difference, you know, you talk about Rural King, Ace Hardware, you know, those are Rural Kings in a shopping area. And I think, you know, your area being in a residential setting is where, you know, the complaints of, and a lot of it's that I have heard is not even coming out of that Spitler Hill area. It's people that are going up the highway and they wonder what's going on there. But, you know, I did go by today and you have cleaned a lot of it up. So I appreciate you doing that. And I'm sure that the people living in that area also appreciate it. So.
Now, there was another problem brought up today. I'll bring it up today. Our building, we're protecting it with a stock trailer and a red truck. We're blocking that off because I about got hit twice since we blocked that other end off. People come off of White Woman Street right into my parking lot. You know, I got the other end, I'm texting on my phone in my own parking lot. I about to get hit with a car running 40 miles an hour. So when we're inside working, I shut that gate. You know, I pull that.
Block it off.
I block it off and then nobody can steal it.
And for theft.
And, you know, the sheriff's department don't have time to deal with me. I can call the sheriff's department and say, hey, there's a drug deal going on in my parking lot on the back side. So they was also using the back of my building to steal the catalytic converters off of our neighbor's car. I'm gonna stop them. You know, they ain't got time to stop crap. They got enough drug deals and stuff going on in our town. So I'm blocking that off. So now they said that I don't give the city water department access to their building. They can get to their building. I leave them enough room that they can walk. They've got a room about this wide between my building and the fence to get to their building. That was gonna be the next lawsuit. So I wanted to stop that before, you know, it gets that far again. But I don't know, who, you know, I don't know how.
Well, as I said, I think as long as you guys are working to keep the front of your property cleaned up and then, like you said it was, cleaned up, I think we'll work with you. You know, I don't think we have a problem with that. I know that the law director and the water department needs access to that building, so.
They got access to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can carry the whole stuff.
Well, at times I need to get a truck or a forklift in there.
That's fine and
But we
dandy.
block it off for safety.
But here's the thing, when we do that,
The best we can do right
we
now.
just paid the other day $1,500 to have our driveway paid. Nobody helped us. Nobody will help us do that. So you guys bring a truck in there and put a hole in my driveway. Well, who's gonna pay for that? I just paid $1,500 for that. I understand that.
And snow plowing all.
You know, the snow plow, I had to keep it plowed all winter long. That was another $1,500.
You know, we've never asked for grants or help.
We don't ask the city for
Tax
nothing.
evasions or anything like that.
Relax.
You know.
We're here to work with you. We're not here to argue. We
Right,
wanna
I
help.
understand. I understand.
So,
I understand.
Mr. President, if I can
But
help out the situation, I met with Ms. Kelton for an hour and a half today. And if I can get a sense from council that you're willing to allow me to work with her,
absolutely.
try to get the property cleaned up to the city's satisfaction. And in exchange, we'll get rid of the charges that are pending. As to the building, I talked to Ms. Kelton about doing an easement. She is in agreement with that. I've talked to the utility department. They're willing to possibly put a gate in there that will allow you to keep people out. And we'll obviously, you'll have access to open the gate, and we'll have access to open the gate if we need in there. And we'll all work together.
That sounds like a
But it's
wonderful
sad that I had to go to court to get this all started, when it should not have had to. go
I'm not
that
gonna
route.
say you're at fault. I'm not gonna say we're at fault. I was just told that you were not willing to make changes, which is why I proceeded the way I did.
Well, that's a lie, because the day he was there,
Ms.
I
Kelly,
invited him in the building and he refused.
it's, I think we're right track. You know, we want you here and, you know, we appreciate it. And if you work with Mr. Skelton and all that stuff, you know, to move forward.
Yeah, I would appreciate one thing, if there's any other problem, issues,
Come to us.
Okay.
The phone number's on the building, you can read it from the road, if you know, if we're not.
Call
there.
me.
And he's got our phone number, I mean, there's several.
Hey, I want you guys, if you need anything as well, to call City Hall. This was more, I don't want to say it was more a council issue. It definitely within my office, if you need something or feel like you're being attacked, call me. And we'll work it out. And teamwork makes the dream work, you know, let's get together and figure it out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
You guys have anything, just let us know, and then you'll let us know if they drop the charges, right?
Oh, I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
No additions. Mayor's report.
I have really nothing further. Just wanted to say on the record that I am interested and concerned about the general fund, because if the city goes bankrupt, I look like a horrible
Mayor
mayor.
Mills, I'm not going to go there again. This is a public setting. I appreciate your apology, but I don't want any more exchanges.
Well, I'm not really exchanging. I want to let the public know that I'm doing things like meeting with developers, working on projects, working on the best avenues to expand our city, to increase tax revenue, growing our boundaries. You know, I'm really not only concerned about the city's future and finances, but every single resident, you know, with what's going on in the country. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, not at all.
Max?
I don't have anything to report other than what we discussed in the minute, unless you guys have questions.
Bob, you have anything?
I have nothing.
Sherry?
Nothing other than the reports that I submitted, if they're okay.
What are we
No further
adding?
questions? No, they were on my email list. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure they got into the minutes, the bank
Okay.
report and the detailed trial balance.
Okay.
They were emailed. I just wanted to make sure when it got put
Gotcha.
on to the minutes, it reflected all of them.
Okay.
So.
So you guys were emailed the auditor's report, need a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the auditor's report.
Turner. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
You emailed the sheriff's report. Any questions for the sheriff? None? That's a great job, doesn't he? Good job. Okay. He does. Let's see, fire chief?
I do. As a result of the captain's test, Andrew Akers was promoted to captain starting yesterday, the 10th. And we hired a local volunteer firefighter to replace him by the name of Dustin Elson, who also started on shift yesterday. He has his volunteer card, so he has to go to the fire academy beginning in August. So for the time being, we are up to full staffing, which is great. It's first time all year, but he'll be gone for 10 weeks at school. Then we'll be right back up to full staffing. So thank you.
Okay, we'll go into legislation. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 2922.
An ordinance to amend section 1355.03 of the ordinances of the city of Coshocton.
You've heard the first reading of ordinance 2922. Any questions or comments? Ordinance will run its course, take its course. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 30-22.
Appropriation.
Heard the first reading, of ordinance 30-22. Any questions or comments? Ordinance will take its course. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 3122.
Transfer.
Heard the first reading of ordinance 3122. Any questions or comments? Ordinance will take its course. Second reading. I'll ask the clerk to give the second reading of ordinance 2822.
An ordinance establishing the compensation for EPA certified professional operators.
For the second reading of ordinance 2822, any questions or comments? Ordinance will take its course. Resolutions, old business, new business, any communications? None. We'll say that the park looks good. I think Mike, you said that as well. Keep up the good work. Tell those guys to keep up the good work. Anybody else have anything positive to say? Roger? You're always positive.
Well, since Chad's not here, I believe there is a concert Saturday night
Yes.
downtown, Fleetwood Mac knockoff group. Car show.
Car show.
Before, so I'll pitch that for Chad.
Okay. Okay, clerks, what is the date and time of our next meeting?
July 25th.
Committee meeting to begin at 5:30. Need a motion for the meeting to be adjourned. So move. More.
Second.
Roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
Adjourned.